It's your boy Jay. Episode 5, Season 1 of the Man Cave Podcast. So, I was talking to one of my old coworkers a while ago. Well, one of my good friends, and we were talking about our job where we met at. Not like that, but you know. And coincidentally, we met at Amazon, and me and him was just bullshitting around talking, right? And he was like, "Yo, would you ever speak about your experiences at Amazon?" And I was like, you know what? I was like, honestly, since I don't work there no more, I can, and like I can drop names and then not get in fucking trouble, because it's like what can they do to me? Like, I don't work there. Like, I mean, they could probably say like, oh, defamation of character or whatever, but at the same time, it's like I get it, but I get it, but I don't get it, if that makes any sense. So, we were talking, right? And he was like, so what would you talk about your experience at Amazon was like? And I'll be like, yo, I would just tell him straight up, like, yo, first off, my experience at Amazon was complete bullshit. And, like, what made it bullshit is the fact that those managers, like, they pick and choose. Like, basically, they have favorites at that job. Like, they really do have favorites. And there's no way around it, no way for them not to sugarcoat it, because it's actually true. Like, that location that I worked at, Amazon had fucking favorites. And I can say that now. Like, and it's said that a lot of these companies that claim, oh, you know, we want to keep the employee morale good, and you know, we want our employees to stay. You're a valued employee, all of that. No, the fuck you're not. Like, they just say that just to say it. Like, a lot of these companies just say shit just to say it, just to make it look good on their end. So basically, if anything was to happen, that these jobs won't be scrutinized or looked at badly. But I feel like a lot of these jobs are just fucking bullshit, and I feel like they don't keep it a bean with you. Like, that's the one thing I hate about a job. It's like, yo, if you gonna make all these rules and make all this bullshit, just keep it a buck with me. Like, I would respect y'all more if y'all just kept it a buck with me and told me what it was from the rip. Don't pipe my head up talking about some, oh yeah, you're a valued employee, you know, we're gonna treat you this way, and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and you know, we want you to stay with the company. When if anything happened to me, lo and behold, y'all gonna post about the job faster than y'all gonna post about, you know, something happening to me. Like, y'all don't care. I'm just a number to y'all corporation, or a cog in the machine, whatever you want to call it. Like, these companies do not care about you. In the same way they want y'all to give 2 weeks notice, no, I feel like that's bullshit. You do not have to give these companies 2 week notice. As fast as they hire you, they will definitely fire your ass, and it won't take them 2 weeks to fire you. Because I've been fired from quite a many a job, and they told my black ass, hey, look, sometimes, yo, the crazy part is they let me come in and work my entire shift. Like, yo, y'all knew y'all was gonna fire me at least a day or two in advance, and y'all gonna tell me, yeah, due to certain things, or you know, we've reached the end of our, you know, situation or whatever, or like, okay, for example, I worked at Amazon and I was there for 120 days of summer or whatever. So they was like, yeah, as long as you keep checking your schedule, you know, you'll be here. So I'm like, all right, cool. I came to work every day, bust my ass every day, and I did what I had to do. So I'm thinking everything good, everything peachy keen. Come to find out, like the last couple days, or like the last day, I think, was it the last day? It was one of those last days. These motherfuckers decided to call me in the office around like 5 p.m. or like 4 4:45, close to it, and they were like, yeah, you know, today is going to be your last day of employment with us, and you can always, you know, reapply for a permanent position. And I'm like, but I felt like I was showing y'all that I wanted to work for the company and that I wanted to be here.
218 on the right onto I-80 toward Youngstown.
And I'm showing y'all like I want to be here and I want to do all those things that I need to do. And like I feel like I should have stayed. Oh well, we did notice you are a hard worker, but it's just we feel as though it's best to part ways. And I'm just like, okay, really? Like I guess. Luckily, I went. This happened in I believe July, and like a couple weeks later, I applied at a different location, and because I knew the HR manager and I was cool with her, so I reached out to her and I said, hey, you know, how you doing? Do you have any positions available? Because you know that location let me go. And she was like, yeah, let me see what I can do. So she looked out in that aspect, but like these jobs got favoritism. Like there's no way around it. And at Amazon, me and my manager butted heads, right? So this is the funny part, because I'm definitely about to tell this shit. So Amazon has this shit where they want, well, at this location, they wanted people to get cross-trained so nobody is just stuck in one part of the building. Mind you, I know inbound. I know that department. I'm very good at that department. I know how to run that department better than the managers that's been there for a while. So, with that being said, Amazon has this thing where this location had this thing where, you know, they would send somebody to a different part of the building so they could get cross-trained if need be, if like they was over head count in one department and needed help in another. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I ain't really got to worry about that. So when I came there, I was hired in the middle of the building. Talked to HR. I switched my schedule. I switched my department to inbound because I know inbound. So it was like there's no point for me not to stay in inbound. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm doing that, and I'm good at it. And I've been in inbound. Let's see, this happened in November. So I got hired in October. November, I went to inbound. So December, January, February, around March. March is when they started doing this. And it's funny because I said to the manager, I said, yo, y'all made up this new rule, but y'all didn't tell us anything. Like, y'all just kept it to yourself. Like, y'all didn't say nothing to us about it. And they were like, well, we didn't need to. We just doing it because of business needs, and we don't have to explain anything to y'all. Well, fuck me twice and slap me around. I feel like that's a common courtesy to let your employees know, like, look, there's going to be some changes ahead, and you know we're going to be sending certain people to certain departments. It'll only be for, you know, possibly 1 to 2 days at the most. All right, cool. I respect it because y'all told me what it was. Y'all told me some changes was coming down the pipeline. All right, cool. Keep that in the back of my cerebellum.
3/4 of a mile.
So
take exit 218 on the right onto I-80 toward Youngstown.
So I do all that. Well, they said all that, and I'm just like, all right, cool. And they was like, yeah, you know, we got to send you over there for cross-training or whatever. I was like, all right. Well, not even cross-training. They had to send me over there for 5 hours. So I went over there 5 hours, like towards the end of my shift. And one of my PAs saw me. He was like, yo, come back. And I'm like, all right, bet. I grabbed my stuff. I came back. So a couple more weeks go by, and then they did it again. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me go over here and knock this out. I don't really know why I'm going over there. So I'm just going to go over there, do what I got to do, and, you know, take my little time and, you know, be happy. So I went over there and did that. And, you know, next day.
3/4 of a mile. Keep left onto I-80 toward Mahoning Avenue.
So thing. I'm like, all right, cool. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I'm doing that. I'm working hard. So the next day come around. I'm like, all right, hold on now. So I asked both the PAs. I was like, yo, can I talk to y'all real quick? And they was like, yeah, wow, what's up? I was like, yo, this is the third day I've been going over to this location. Like, why am I going over there? Like, why am I going back to why am I going back to the middle of the building? And they was like, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't tell you why, because I have no idea. I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't think nothing of it. Like, you don't know. So, ain't nothing wrong with that. So, then, lo and behold, this goes on for like a couple more days straight. And I asked them, well, I said something to the manager. I was like, yo, so what's going on? Why y'all keep sending me to the middle of the building? And they was like, oh, well,
Onto I-80 toward Mahoning Avenue.
we're sending people toward the middle of the building for X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, well, I don't understand why y'all sending me to the middle of the building if I've already been over there and y'all not giving me an explanation as to why I'm going back over there. And they were like, well, we gotta send you over there for business needs. I said, y'all not sending nobody else over there. And I'm just like, why y'all not sending nobody else over there? Like, that really don't make sense to me. Like, y'all not sending nobody else over there at all. And they were like, oh, well, they was like, you just got to go to the middle of the building. I'm like, all right, I guess. So I go back over there, and like, I really don't want to be over there. So I go over there, and I'm scanning a couple packages, just that and the third, and they're like, I really didn't feel like working that day. So I'm just like, well, not even I didn't feel like working. I didn't feel like being in that situation that day. And I'm just like, yo, what the hell? Like, y'all not doing nothing? Like, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And, like, I feel like y'all really just playing in my face now. Because it's like, I told y'all what it was. I told y'all I don't want to be in the middle of the building. I hate going over there. And, like, to keep up, like, you have to keep up a certain rate in the middle of the building. And if you don't keep that rate up, like, they can write you up for that, and you can potentially get fired, which I think is stupid. Like, yo, I'll get into that later on. So, I go back over there, and mind you, this happened for the next, like, it was 4 days I was working, so it happened for that week. So then the next week I came in, and they were like, yo, you going to the back of the building. So basically, I snapped on both of the managers. I snapped on them. I said, yo, why y'all keep sending me over to the middle of the building? Oh, we're not sending just you. We're sending somebody else over there too. I said, I don't know who that person is. I don't care about them. I said, for one, y'all got the same pallet receivers over here on the east side that don't do nothing. Like, they just stand around and they be on their phones. But the moment y'all see me do something, it's like, y'all always got something smart to say to me, but y'all don't have nothing smart to say to them. Like, if it's going to be like that, say it to everybody. Don't just point me out. Like, we not about to do that, because I don't like that shit. And I'm like, yo, just say, like, exactly what it is. And I'm like, I was like, so what am I doing wrong? Like, why y'all keep sending me over to the middle of the building? Well, you're supposed to keep up a rate in order for y'all to come back over here. I said, why do I have to keep a rate if I'm in inbound? If I'm in inbound and I'm not associated to a rate, and y'all made me do inbound one-on-one or whatever that bullshit was that y'all made me do, why y'all sending me to the middle of the building? Y'all don't send nobody else to the middle of the building. Y'all either do that shit because y'all don't want to deal with people, or people gonna get fired. And I'm just like, so that don't make no sense. Like, just tell me what it is. And they were like, no, well, it's X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the third. And I said, who else comes over here and works? I was like, how many of your PAs or your PGs actually work. And I'm like, y'all have people in supposedly a sub-management position, but don't even know how to do their own job. Like, they can't even do what it is that they're supposed to do.
3/4
So,
of a mile.
y'all
Keep
saying-
right onto I-80.
So y'all saying y'all want me to do X, Y, and Z. Y'all want me to go to the middle of the building. But what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing for me to make me feel like I'm a valued employee and y'all want me to stay here? Oh, well, what the mail manager was like, oh, well, I don't like the way you PG. I'm like, what you mean you don't like the way I PG? Like, what the fuck type of shit is that? Like, the fuck are you talking about? Oh, you be standing around and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bro, I'm on my feet for 10 hours with a manual pallet jack. A nigga can't take a break for like 5-10 minutes. Like, I can't just stand there and make sure everybody moving, you know, the freight that moves to be around. Like, y'all asked me to do, what is it? Y'all asked me to go to, y'all asked me to pallet receive, so I pallet receive. Or if y'all don't ask me to pallet receive and y'all need help getting the number because y'all need more pallet receive, or y'all need more to
I-80
the
toward New York City.
or more to the middle of the building, I do that, and y'all don't even know that it's me. Y'all numbers just be going up because of me. Oh, well, and I said, well, nothing. Like, y'all really just sit there and y'all don't say shit. Like, y'all don't say nothing. Y'all be so indirect. Y'all have other people come do what y'all should do. And I really feel like as a manager, that's one of the poorest fucking qualities managers have. And I hate that. I hate that with a passion. And I think because I was in the military and like I was usually in charge of a working party sometimes. So what I would do is I would tell whoever's in charge of my group, well, I would tell like the group that I'm in charge of, like, look, you know, we gotta do X, Y, and Z, and I think it would be more beneficial if we all do it at the same exact time, so that way we all can say like, all right, we all did it, so we know everything is good on our end, so it don't fall back on us. And that's just like the way that I've been taught how to do shit. And I feel like that's way more effective than the bullshit that they try and tell you at Amazon. Like, that shit is so fucking corny. And I hated that. I hated that shit with a passion. And then after I cussed them out, I ain't say shit to my manager for like, I want to say almost a month. Yes, I left at the end of May. I didn't say nothing to him until 2 weeks before when I told him I was putting in my 2 weeks. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was like, all right, well, it was a pleasure working with you, and, you know, I wish you the best. I was like, all right, thank you, I appreciate that. So, it is what it is. It was what it was. I really could care less. Like I said, like, these jobs really don't give a fuck about you. Oh, and another time, this shit is funny. So I worked at this car dealership in Warminster, PA. I worked at Patriot Chevrolet, right? I really don't care, so I'm just gonna say it. So I worked at that dealership, right? I met a couple cool people I still keep in contact with. You know, I still bust it up with them from time to time here and there. So October 1st, 2024. So, you know, I'm thinking work going good, you know. It's been a bit of an issue, I guess. I don't know, like, oh, so, okay. So this, I kind of know what led up to that. So, let me give you the backstory. So, it was 2 instances, right? A car came in with a no charger issue. So, I hooked the car up to the charger, printed out the receipt for it, and, you know, I verified that it wasn't the battery, and then the machine also tested the alternator. Come to find out, it was the alternator that was bad. So, come to find out, I replaced the alternator, did that, the car started right up.
In 3/4 of a mile, keep right onto I-80 toward New York City.
I let the car run for a little bit longer, and just so the battery and the alternator could, sync up and do whatever they had to do. Not sync up, but the battery could get used to charging the alternator, and shit like that. So I did that, verified it, everything was good. Come to find out, it was like the battery was messing up or something. Like the car was just a headache in itself, and it wasn't giving me the exact stuff that I needed. It wasn't.
Right onto I-80 toward New York City.
It wasn't doing exactly what I needed it to do. So I'm like, all right, cool. No worries. Keep in contact with the manager, let him know what's going on, and go from there. So I let him know. I let my service writer know what's going on, and we keep in contact. We're trying to figure out the solution for the battery, and we going from there. So mind you, the whole time I'm talking to my service writer, and I'm letting him know what's going on with the battery and stuff. So that was the one incident. The other incident is they had me doing a catalytic converter on a 2017 Chevy Colorado. Now, anytime you do a big job like that, you're supposed to follow the GM website and follow all the steps that it tells you to do. So I do all the steps it tells you to do, and I double check. I have I have maybe like two of the older guys show me exactly like what to do. They're like, all right, take off these two bolts, do this, do this, do this, do this. And when you tighten it back up, make sure you go in like a circle, so that way it evenly plants in together. So I'm like, all right, cool. That makes perfect sense. So I'm doing that, and everything's going good. No complaints at all. And I'm doing everything the way I should do it. So I got everything back together. It took me a whole day to do it because I never did it. So I got everything back together. The shop foreman plays a critical role in this. So the shop foreman, he even helps me. Not once did he mention anything about what's called a clock spring. I'll tell you about that in like a couple more minutes. So I put everything back together, turn it on, fire it up. No codes, nothing. Come back in. Drive the car around the parking lot just to make sure nothing comes on, and I park it because no lights came on, no nothing. Not once in the GM website did it say anything about the clock spring. It did not say anything because you have to release the steering column in order to take off the catalytic converter, because the steering column's in the way for a couple of the bolts in the catalytic converter. So I do that, and I put it back on, and I put everything back together. Excuse me. This happened on a Wednesday. I'm off on Thursday. I come in on Friday, and they were like, hey, Jay, did you work on a 2017 Colorado with a clock spring? I mean, not a clock spring, a catalytic converter? Yeah. Yeah, wow, what's up? What happened? Did I do something wrong? Oh, you gotta, the customer drove it and the steering wheel light came on. Something about the clock spring. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, my bad. On the GM website, it didn't say anything about it, so I was unaware. That's my bad. I'll take responsibility for that. I'm sorry for that inconvenience. All right, cool. Thank you. I'm glad that you took responsibility for it. Just make sure you double check. Okay. All right, cool. So then it was 2007. What was it? It was a 2007, I think, Chevy. I can't remember the make of it, but I know it was a 2007, and it was leaning to one side. And when I first started there, the shop foreman was working on that car, and the shop foreman was gone because one, he he had surgery, and 2, he never worked the weekend, so he would always be like, oh, I'm going to the Eagles game, this, that, and the third, or whatever. Now, that plays a part because he's never fucking there on the weekends. And he's hardly ever there anyway, and he doesn't say shit to nobody at all. So, he tells me to bring in the tire to fix it, to get the car out of there. And I'm like, all right, cool. So, mind you, it's been sitting in the August heat, and it hasn't rained in damn near a whole month. So that tire's just sitting, getting hot, expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting. I don't know how old that tire is. The tire's fucking old as shit. So the tire's like fucked up anyway. It's already dry rotted. So I go to take the tire off, and the tire is complete shit. So I go to put on a new tire, and as I'm putting on the new tire, I'm getting a whole bunch of bullshit. Well, as I put on the new tire, it's like fighting me because it's like old and rusted and all of this other bullshit. So I'm like, damn, this is an old raggedy ass tire. So I'm like, alright, whatever. It's a raggedy ass tire, keep it pushing. So keep it pushing, and that's that. And as I'm putting the new tire on, the TPMS sensor breaks. Now, mind you, I know I put that tire on the right way. I don't know why the fucking I don't know why the TPMS sensor broke. So I go ahead and put the TPMS sensor on, put on a new one, and I send it on its way. And then it was another vehicle that it was a turbocharger on like a Chevy Spark or something like that. It was something weird that I told the service writer about, and I printed it out to him, and I said, yo, this showed up. Like, all right, this is like out of my field of what I'm supposed to be doing. Do you want me to pass it on to somebody else, or do you just want me to do what I can do? Because I did all 4 brakes, and I did the oil change on it too. And then I noticed that, and I was like, all right, well, just so you know, I'm gonna staple this with the paperwork, so that way, like, and I know this is what this turbocharger goes to. All right, cool. So the car stays in the shop. The car stays on the lift. He knows this. And I tell him exactly, okay, I do the work that I'm supposed to do. Car goes out. Car comes back, and that happened Thursday. Car came back Saturday for the turbocharger thing, and lo and behold, it was something out of my expertise, and I told him that, and I told him that twice. So on October 1st, I got called into the office before I left, and my manager told me, who I was friends with at the time, she told me, she was like, we're gonna have to let you go. And I said, what you mean let me go? And I was like, why? She was like, well, because the shop foreman doesn't have any faith in you, and because of the cars that came back. And I told her the situation for the cars too, and I explained them to her. And I told her, I was like, yo, how is he not gonna have any faith in me when he's not even here? And I'm like, how does somebody have faith in somebody when they're not even here? And I'm like, don't that sound weird to you? She was like, I do, but it's out of my hands now. I'm like, but you're the service director. Like, how is that out of your hands? Like, you're the one that told me to come in after I was already driving trucks locally, to come in to get my emission license and my inspection license. And mind you, I paid to get my own goddamn emissions license, because they were dragging their feet like, oh, well, we didn't have any spaces, this, that, and the third. So I called and I told them, like, look, I gotta get my fucking license. And yet again, they dragged their feet on that. So she was like, yeah, well, we gotta let you go because, the shop foreman doesn't have any faith in you. I'm like, it's funny not to have faith in somebody when when you're not even at work the majority of the time. Like, how does that work? And she's like started giving me this sob story and started crying and all of this other stuff. And she was like, I'm sorry, I really convinced you to come off the road and come work here. And I was just like, all right, well, that doesn't make sense. So I'm like, all right, well, how do I get my money back for the class? Like, I'm not understanding that. Like, I already paid for this class, and I'm not getting no type of compensation. I'm not getting none of that. So she was like, all right, well, she was like, well, if they don't pay you back, I'll just pay you back out of my pocket. And I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever, I guess. I was just more so blown away by the fact, like, y'all really, like, this man really sat up there and said, I don't have any faith in him, and I don't want him here. So later on that night, I texted her and I told her, I was like, yeah, I would like to have a meeting with you, Steve, Jim, and the owner of the dealership. And they were like, and she was like, well, at this time it's like out of our hands, we're just gonna cut ties. And I'm just like, all right, whatever, like, I guess. And I just hung up the phone. Like, I really didn't have shit else to say to that, because I'm like, what the hell? Like, really? Y'all don't have faith in somebody? And I'm just like, that's crazy as shit to me. And it's funny because I went back up there like a couple weeks ago, or actually a lot of weeks ago. I went back up there and I said something. I went back up there because I was in the neighborhood and I was like, yo, let me just see how my old coworkers are doing. So I went up there and I talked to them. And I was just talking to the dudes in the shop, busting it up with them. And it's funny because he's not even a shop foreman anymore. And I was like, oh, isn't that funny? And when I went back, I seen people in the service department, and the guy who I'm cool with in the service department was like, yo, if you want to come back, I'll hire you. And I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, like, I know you could work. And he was like, I know you don't want to deal with the bullshit in the shop. And he was like, plus, he was like I said, I know you're going to work. He was like, you come to work and you work. You'll have fun here and there, but it's not like you don't come to work and don't work at all. Like, he's like, you're not lazy. And I'm like, yeah, true. But I was like, all right, I'll consider it. So that happened, and I'm just like, yo, these companies really is something else. Like, I really understand why people now be like, yo, I'm going into work for myself. Like, I'm going to work for myself. I can't work for somebody else and not feel respected as a person and as an employee. And I totally agree with that, because these jobs really don't care. These jobs really don't give a fuck about you. And it's funny, and it's funny as shit too, because I'm just like, I see that now, and I'm just like, these companies are trash, and people are put in leadership positions that don't even fucking know how to lead. Like, they can't even lead a horse to a watering hole. Like, they really can't. They can't even lead. These companies really need to, like, just redo their whole strategy of how they hire people and who the fuck they hire. Because I feel like they put a bunch of names in a hat and then shake up the hat and then just pull them out like, boom, alright, we're going to hire him. But he has no people skills and he has no other type of skills. Fuck it, let's hire him anyway. Excuse me, y'all still going to hire him? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. What the hell? How'd that work? So I'm just like, yo, these companies are real life trash. Like I really don't understand it, and it's sad too. That's so fucking sad. Like I really was just thinking about that shit. I'm like, yo, I gotta say that too. So, but like, comment, subscribe. I really gotta remember to put my fucking thing, to put my my Facebook and my Instagram and my Twitter in here also. So I will be doing that. Be doing that, and you know, I plan on getting my followers up. So comment, like, subscribe, and I'll be dropping more videos periodically. Well, not periodically, but I'm gonna start being more consistent with these videos. I promise. I thank you to my local followers, well, to all my followers, no matter if you're local or not. Thank you for, you know, sticking with me in this journey. I promise I'm gonna get better at it. Peace, love, and oil grease. One.